The summer of 2025 was supposed to be a season of long-awaited vacations and family reunions. Instead, for many, it descended into a period of frustrating uncertainty and travel chaos. The reason was a major labor dispute that grounded Canada's largest airline. A widespread strike by Air Canada flight attendants brought the carrier's operations to a near standstill. The work stoppage stranded more than 100,000 travelers around the world. The timing could not have been worse, occurring during peak summer travel season. In one of the strongest strike mandate votes in recent Canadian history, 99.7% of members opted to authorize a strike. 10,000 flight attendants at Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge were involved in the labor action. Strike action began Saturday, August 16th at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, as flight attendants walked off the job. At the heart of this dispute was a fundamental issue: unpaid work. Flight attendants are not compensated for federally regulated safety checks or for boarding and deplaning passengers. This unpaid time averages about 35 hours a month that flight attendants are at work but not paid. Shannon Elliott, chair of the CUPA Strike Committee, explained the situation clearly.
For any of our federally regulated safety checks, which we do an hour before boarding, we are not compensated. We are not compensated for boarding and deplaning.
Facing the strike threat, Air Canada presented what it considered a substantial proposal. The airline offered a 38% total compensation increase over 4 years, with 25% in the first year. Air Canada stated it sought no concessions from the union in return, positioning this as a generous offer. Despite the impressive headline number, the union swiftly rejected Air Canada's proposal. CUPA said the 38% increase was insufficient because it failed to address unpaid work. The union argued that flight attendants are currently paid only when their plane is moving, leaving ground duties uncompensated. As the strike crippled the national airline, the Canadian government decided to intervene. Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu announced the government would force an end to the work stoppage.
This is not a decision that I've taken lightly, but the potential for immediate negative impact on Canadians and our economy is simply too great.
The government ordered binding arbitration, effectively ending the strike by decree. Flight attendants were ordered back to work, while an arbitrator would determine their contract terms. The union responded angrily to the government intervention.
The Liberal government is rewarding Air Canada's refusal to negotiate fairly by giving them exactly what they wanted.
The dispute was moved from the picket line to a legal proceeding, with both sides now awaiting the arbitrator's decision. For 10,000 flight attendants, their future wages and working conditions are now in the hands of an arbitrator. While flights are running again, the underlying tensions remain unresolved. The binding arbitration process will determine wages and working conditions for years to come. The fundamental question of what constitutes paid work in the modern economy remains unanswered. This dispute sends a message to other unions about the limits of strike action when it affects the national economy. Travelers will be watching closely, hoping for a stable resolution that prevents future travel chaos. The arbitrator's decision will not only determine the future for thousands of flight attendants, but also set a precedent for how labor disputes are handled in Canada for years to come.